So this is part 2 of exam 1 review. This time we're going to take a look at word problems involving equations and inequalities. Just as a reminder, know that your exam 1 is on Thursday, September 17th. Please break your old habit of not studying for an exam. Come to the exam prepared, study. Use your notes, use the lesson videos to make sure that you understand the concepts that you need to be applying to our exam. So here's our first word problem. We have Jose, who received a $40 gift card to Sonic for his birthday. Each time he uses his Sonic card, $1.50 is deducted from the balance. If X represents the number of times the card is used, write an equation to determine the number of times Jose has used his card if $4 remains. So we know that X, that variable right there, that is our number of times used. So to set up this equation, we know that he has $40 to start with, and then $150 is deducted, so that would be minus $150 times X, the number of times used, and whatever that is, that should equal to $4, which is the balance he has left in his cart. So once we have this, we can just solve for X. So right here, you can see that you subtracted 40 from both sides. You end up with negative 150X is equal to negative 36. Divide both sides by negative 150, and you end up with X is equal to 24. So for this problem, we know that Jose has used his gift card 24 times. Now for this next problem, we go through the problem. You have Pedro wanted to buy a mom for homecoming for his girlfriend. The cost of a basic mom is $25. A basic mom is very boring. There are not any ribbons, beads, charms, etc. There is an additional charge of $2 for every specialty item that you add. Write an equation that Pedro could spend to determine how many specialty items he could order if he can only spend $45. So we know that the maximum that Pedro can spend is $45. So that's it. There's your $45 right there. The cost of a basic mom is $25. So 45 should equal to 25 plus $2 per specialty item. So our equation would look like this. 45 is equal to 25 plus 2s. So from there, we can solve for s. Subtract 25 from both sides. You end up with 20 is equal to 2s. Divide both sides by 2. You end up with s is equal to 10. So this means Pedro was able to buy 10 specialty items for his girlfriend's mom. For this next problem right here, you're asked to solve this equation right here. 8x minus 2 multiplied by the quantity 3x minus 5 is equal to negative 3x plus 15. So we want to show Diana how to solve it. So we get started right here. You end up with 8x minus 2 multiplied by quantity 3x minus 5 equal to 3x plus 15, sorry. So you distribute the negative 2, you end up with 8x minus 6x plus 10 is equal to negative 3x plus 15. From there, we can combine the 8x minus 6x, which would give us 2x. Once we have 2x, you just bring down the plus 10, then it's equal to negative 3x plus 15. Add 3x to both sides, you end up with 5x plus 10 is equal to 15. To isolate 5x by itself, we are going to subtract 10 from both sides. You end up with 5x is equal to 5. So now we have x is equal to 1. To make sure that we did everything right and this answer is correct, we substitute x is equal to 1 to the original equation. You can see right here that you end up with 8 times 1 is equal to negative 2 multiplied by 3 times 1 minus 5. And then you have negative 3 times 1 plus 15. You continue working that out, you end up with 8 plus 4, which is equal to 12. Negative 3 plus 15 is also equal to 12. So we know that x is equal to 1 is the correct answer. Now for this next problem, we are trying to see if Chris solved, if the solution that he got, x is equal to negative 6, is correct for this problem right here. There's two ways you can do this. You can actually solve this and see if it matches what Chris got, which is x is equal to negative 6. Or you can actually take x is equal to negative 6 and substitute it in for x in the equation. If you do that, you'll end up with 2 times negative 6, which will give you negative 12, plus 2 is equal to negative of negative 6 becomes a positive 6 minus 4. You end up with negative 12 plus 2, which gives you negative 10. 6 minus 4 gives you 2. So negative 10 is not equal to 2. So this is a false statement. That means x is equal to negative 6 is not the right answer for this equation right here. So Chris got this problem wrong. The next word problem is this one right here. You have Louisa that works as a counselor. She meets with each of her clients for 20 minutes, and during her 8-hour day, which is 480 minutes, she takes breaks that total 40 minutes. So the question is, how many clients can she meet during the entire workday? So we know that she has an 8-hour day, which means that that is 480 minutes. So whatever we do, it needs to equal 480 minutes. So we have that part set. We want to figure out how many clients she meets with. So that will be 20 minutes per client. C is the number of clients plus her 40-minute break. So if we're trying to solve this, so here's our equation. We have 20C plus 40 is equal to 480. If we're trying to solve this, we are going to subtract 40 from both sides. We're going to end up with 20C, that's a C, is equal to 440. And then we divide both sides by 20. And we end up with C is equal to 22. So this means Louisa was able to see 22 clients on her workday. So the next word problem we had is this one. Chuck's phone company charges a flat rate of $12 per month plus 5 cents per minute. His bill last month was $18. How many minutes did Chuck talk on the phone? So we know that his bill is $18, so that's our 18 right there. The flat fee is your $12, and then you know that per minute that he talks, he gets charged 5 cents or 0.05. So from here, first thing you're going to do is to isolate the m. So we are going to subtract 12 from both sides. And you end up with 0.05 m is equal to 6. Divide both sides by 0.05. Divide that by 0.05. And m ends up being 120 minutes. So this means that Chuck, last month, he was on the phone for 120 minutes. So this next word problem that we're dealing with deals with inequalities. So right here we have Natasha wants to treat her friends to the movies. She can spend at most $131. So that means she can't go over $131. The movie tickets cost $11 each, and she also wants to spend $21 worth of popcorn and candy that they're all going to share. So how do we set that up? You know that she can't go over 131. So whatever we set up here has to be less than or equal to 131. The tickets were $11 per person, so that'll be 11x plus $21 for the popcorn and candy. And there we have our inequality. 11x plus 21 is less than or equal to $131. So from here, we can solve how many friends Natasha can invite. First thing we do is subtract 21 from both sides. So now you're going to end up with 11x is less than or equal to 110. Divide both sides by 11. X is less than or equal to 10. So this means that Natasha, if you include herself, there would be 10 people going to the movies. If you don't count Natasha, then Natasha can have 9 friends going to the movies. So here's another word problem that we have. You have an office building that contains 1,100 square feet of space. Now, each employee will end up getting a cubicle that takes up 200 square feet of space, and they also plan to have an entryway that is 300 square feet. So the question is, what is the possible number of employees the office building can accommodate? So we know that we cannot go over 5,100 square feet because that is how big the office building is. So whatever we do, it has to be less than or equal to 5,100. So each cubicle takes 200 square feet. The X is the number of employees you have, because each employee will get 200 square feet, plus the 300 square foot entryway that they want to set up. So our inequality for this problem would be 200x plus 300 is less than or equal to 5,100. So from there, we can solve this inequality. We would subtract 300 from both sides. So minus 300. That'll give us 200x is less than or equal to 4,800. And then we divide both sides by 200. And that would give us x is less than or equal to 24. So now we know that this office building can accommodate 24 employees. So we have 2 more inequality word problems. Here's the other one. Keith has $500 in savings at the beginning of the summer. He wants to have at least $200 in his account by the end of the summer. He withdraws $25 a week for food and movies, etc. So we need to write an inequality that represents the situation. We know that Keith wants at least $200. So whatever we do here, it has to be greater than or equal to 200 because you can't go below $200. We know that his starting balance is 500, and every week he takes $25 out. So there's your number of weeks right there, the double. So from here, we can solve how many weeks Keith can spend $25 but not go under $200 in his account. So the first thing we would do is to subtract 500 from both sides. So now you're going to end up with negative 25W is greater than or equal to negative 300. Divide everything by negative 25. Because we divided by a negative number, that means that this sign right here would flip. And now we know that W is less than or equal to 12. So this means that Keith has less than or equal to 12 weeks to take out $25 in his account every week and still end up with $200 in his account. Take note that the sign flipped. From greater than or equal to, it became less than or equal to because you divided both sides by a negative number. You only flip signs when you divide or multiply both sides by a negative number. For our last word problem, we have a taxi cab that charges a flat rate of $1.75 in addition to 65 cents per mile. Katie has no more than $10 to spend. So that means she can't go over $10. So to set up our inequality, we are going to have $10 right there. Whatever this is, it has to be less than or equal to $10 because Katie cannot go over $10. So we know that the flat rate is $1.75 plus the 65 cents per mile is right there. So our inequality would look like this. You'll have 0.65 M plus $1.75 is less than or equal to $10. So from here, we can figure out how many miles Katie can travel without going over $10. So we'll need to solve for M. First thing we can do is subtract $1.75 from both sides. So we're going to end up with 0.65 M is less than or equal to 825. Now to get M by itself, we divide both sides by 0.65. 0.65. Now we end up with M has to be less than or equal to 12.69 and then some more digits if you put that in the calculator. So right here, the answer would be, if you're just looking for a whole number answer, this means that Katie can only travel 12 miles. As you can see, we are not rounding up to 13. If you round up to 13 and you substitute 13 for M, you're going to find out that that's going to end up greater than 10. So we end up rounding down. This is the type of question where you need to pay attention to what kind of, what the context of the situation is. In this case, rather than we round up, we actually round it down so that Katie does not go over her $10 limit. So that's all we have for the word problems. I'm hoping that you guys use both lesson videos to prepare for your exam on Thursday. If you have looked at your lesson videos and your exams, then the exam of Thursday shouldn't be difficult. You should be ready for it. All right? Please, please, please study for your exam. Come to class prepared to take your exam. And good luck.